Good day, everyone. Good day. Good day. Welcome to Morning Sip with Rev Melissa. I am Rev Melissa. And I have to say, I'm a little distracted right now because I just got a text message saying that my daughter is going to be dancing on Mark, what's the show? Kelly and Mark this morning. So I'm like, what? What? Or she was dancing on the show. I don't know. Something's happening, and I'm not really sure what it is. So I was just distracted for a moment. So I guess I'll find out later on. I guess I'll find out later on. So good day. Good day. Morning Sip. Sip stands for Spirit in Practice, where we practice because practice makes progress. And I am so excited for today's show because we are on a journey. We are on a journey with the four agreements. And we have been unpacking a agreement a day. And yesterday we were talking about the third agreement, don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. And so I want to pick up from there after this quick recap of the first two agreements. Be impeccable with your word is the first one. And it really is the foundational agreement, being impeccable with your word. Agreement two is don't take anything personally. More than likely, it's not even about you. So stop taking things personally. And then the third assumption, don't make assumptions. The third agreement, don't make assumptions. And I just love my congregation of joy because yesterday I said I was asking about the sitcom where the characters, one of the characters said to the other character, don't make assumptions because when you make assumptions, you make an ass of you and me, right? So I saw that Shay had put in that it was from Fast Times with Richmond High, but I knew that's not where I saw it. It was on a sitcom, and so someone did the research from the Congregation of Joy, and it was from the Odd Couple. It was from the Odd Couple. Um, I can't even remember their names. Felix was the neat one, and Jack Klugman's character, who Oscar, Felix and Oscar. Yes, 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 yes. So I think Felix said to Oscar, when you assume you make an ass of you and me, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to Shay. I have to rewatch Fast Times at Richmond High to see that scene. And they also credit that term to Oscar Wilde, which is really interesting to me also. So some fun facts there for you all. So yesterday we talked about making assumptions about other people, right? Making assumptions about other people. And today I want to focus a little bit on not only making assumptions about other people, but when we make assumptions about our own selves. We make assumptions about our own selves. So, what assumptions are you making about yourself that don't serve you? What assumptions are you making? So, this is what Don Miguel has to say in the Four Agreements. He says, we also make assumptions about ourselves, and this creates a lot of inner conflict. I think I am able to do this. You make this assumption, for instance, then you discover you aren't able to do it. You overestimate or underestimate yourself because you haven't taken the time to ask yourself questions and to answer them. Perhaps you need to gather more facts about a particular situation, or maybe you need to stop lying to yourself about what you truly want. Miguel does not mince words. Maybe you are lying to yourself about what you truly want. So, just like we ask other people questions instead of jumping to assumptions, we can also ask ourselves questions about whatever it is that's up for us instead of making assumptions about ourselves. That creates, as Don Miguel talks about, inner conflict. And then what happens? Nothing. We don't move. We get stuck. We go around and around and around, but we're not getting anywhere. So instead of making assumptions about yourself, ask yourself a question and then lean inward for the answer. Because where are the answers for you? The answers for you are within you. So we get to ask for guidance. We get to ask for guidance. So the second part of this is your relationship with your love relationships. So some of the most important relationships in our lives are our love relationships. And this is what he has to say. Often when you go into a relationship with someone you like, you have to justify why you like that person. You only see what you want to see and you deny there are things you don't like about that person. You lie to yourself just to make yourself right. Then you make assumptions. And one of the assumptions is, my love will change this person. But this is not true. Your love will not change anybody. If others change, it's because they want to change, not because you can change them. So I don't know if I mentioned that there's two books that I recommend to couples, and it's a requirement when I work with them. One is the Four Agreements for this very paragraph that I just read. And the second one is Conscious Loving by the Hendricks. Those two books I highly recommend to couples in serious relationships or thinking about being in a serious relationship. Those are two really good books to support yourself in those relationships. He goes on to write, we don't need to justify love. It is there or not there. Real love is accepting other people the way they are without trying to change them. How many times have you been in a relationship where you thought that you could change the person because you love them so much that you can change them? I know I have in the past. Lord have mercy. Did I take on some projects thinking I could make somebody change? No, siree. It is exhausting. It is exhausting. Yes, Fee. It is exhausting to believe that you can change someone. That is some assumption you do not want to make. To make the assumption that this person that I say that I love, that I can change them. To assume that you could change somebody. No, you cannot. People can only change themselves. And what you can do is support them in their change, in their growth, right? We can support them. We could be their cheerleaders, right? But we can't do the work for them. Because when you say that you're going to change somebody, what you're saying is, I'm going to do the work for them. And does that work? No, because you can't do anybody else's work. They got to do it for themselves. So I love all of what Miguel is saying about this. So I want to share two more things. Find someone whom you don't have to change at all. It's much easier to find someone who is already the way you want him or her to be instead of trying to change that person. Also, that person must love you just the way you are. So he or she doesn't have to change you at all. If others feel they have to change you, that means they don't really love you just the way you are. So why be with someone if you're not the way he or she wants you to be? If you love me the way I am, okay, take me. If you don't love me the way I am, okay, bye-bye. Find someone else. It may sound harsh, But this kind of communication means the personal agreements we make with others are clear and impeccable. Clear and impeccable. Going back to that foundational agreement, be impeccable with your word. Find someone that you already like just the way they are. Just the way they are. I love that so, so much. So, are you making assumptions about yourself? Are you making assumptions about your relationships? Are you making assumptions about just random people who are in and out of your life? We get to practice not making assumptions. And instead, we can ask for clarity. We can ask questions. We can let people be who they are because we cannot change them. We can decide if they're going to be a part of our universe and at what level. We can decide that, right? But we can't change them. So there you have our third agreement. Don't make assumptions. So we got be impeccable with your word, number one. Don't take anything personally, number two. And don't make assumptions, number three. So tomorrow we will unpack the fourth assumption. And I asked yesterday for you to start thinking about the agreements that you make with yourself. And I love the agreement, fee letter agreement that I saw after the show. One of the agreements that Fee is making with herself is to be consistent and kind. That is her agreement, to be consistent and kind. Powerful agreements to make for yourself. So, what agreements are you willing to make for yourself? Don Miguel Ruiz gave us the first four. I think he gave us five. So, what are some of yours? If you had to create your own agreement for yourself, what would it be? So, there's some love work if you decide to do that. And let me just check in with y'all and we'll get into some joy news. Thank you, Fee. I enjoyed this series as well. I was the change agent extraordinaire. Oh, Fee, let me tell you, if they were giving out awards for thinking that I could change people, especially in relationships, Lord have mercy. Why? Because, oh, they have such potential. They just need some molding. Girl, please, you go sit down with that. So we live, we learn, right? And we make change. Oh, I know there was one other thing that I wanted to highlight that Don Miguel stresses and what we stress here on Morning Sip. He says, what really makes the difference? What really makes the difference? What really makes the difference is taking action. He says, taking the action over and over again strengthens your will, nurtures the seed, and establishes a sound foundation for the new habit to grow. Not making assumptions. All of these agreements are behaviors or habits, right? That we are practicing so that it becomes our default, right? It becomes integrated into our consciousness. So I wanted to get that part in too, because it's not just saying, I'm not making assumptions. You have to take action. It's not just saying, I'm going to be impeccable with my word. You have to take action. It's not just saying, I'm not going to take anything personally. You have to take action. So all of these agreements get activated, and you decide when, where, how you're going to activate them for your life. All right, y'all. So let's get into some joy news. So today is Wednesday, and I just want to remind everyone that today we will not have our community cafe. We don't have community cafe on the 5th Wednesday, but I got something for you. May and June, every Wednesday, 7 p.m., Community Cafe is the book study, and the book study is Hack Your Pain Now by Sekou Writes. He is the author. It is a emergency survival guide and 10 easy commandments. And Sekou is going to be with us on the journey. The author will be in the book study with us. The cost is love offering. So just give a love offering, generosity to Sekou, and show up with the book. Show up with the book, ebook, paperback, and audiobook. You have your options of how you would like to be engaged with the book. So we are so looking forward to this. And it's on Zoom. All you need to do is go to rocklandcsl.org, and the Zoom link is under Community Cafe. And I look forward to seeing you all there on May 7th for the first one. Also, what we have coming up, please mark your calendars for the next full moon meditation. Our meditation with the full moon will be May 13th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We do a full-blown spiritual practice. Also in May, I will be teaching a new class. The new class is Self-Mastery, Emergence of the True Self. And it's a journey. It is a journey in mastery, mastering yourself, your egoic self with your higher self. So we have 8 weeks of a beautiful class that has been curated by Centers for Spiritual Living. The cost is $240 for a Congregation of Joy and Rockland CSL members. The cost is $220, and a payment plan is available because we don't want money to be an issue as to why you don't take the class when you really want to. It's something that you desire to do. Do it. Take action. Take action. Yes? Yes. So I think that's all I'll share today. Of course, you can support my Ministry of Joy by going to my Etsy store at I Am Rev Melissa. I have long sleeve, short sleeve, Live Life in Joy, Connect to Your Yes shirts. I have Sip Joy mugs and Joy, Joy, Joy socks. So check it out by going to Etsy, I Am Rev Melissa. And all of the joy merchandise is there. All right. So I will see you all tomorrow. We will wrap up the 4 agreements with the 4th agreement. And I would really love to hear what some of your agreements are that you are formulating for yourself. All right? All right, y'all. So I will see you tomorrow. Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and justice. We are living life in joy, connected to our yes.